Hello class. Today I would like to take the opportunity and show you and demonstrate how one can go about writing a base class and a drive class. With that said, let's go ahead and start. Again, you launch your Visual Studio as usual. Then you go under New, Project, and we're going to call this our project How To, or you can name it whatever you would like to. A base class. Okay. Next, we're going to use an empty project. Click Finish. And under the source, we see Add New Item. It's going to be C++. We're going to call it, we'll name it PC. Okay. But however, you can name it whatever you would like to name your file. The first thing we're going to do is to go ahead and declare our standard input output in the libraries. So in this case, we're going to say include IOStream. Next, we're going to also include our string variable, a string library, I'm sorry. And we're going to be using our, I'm just going to declare a standard output, standard input, using end of the line thing and the string. So usually it's a good practice to go ahead and declare these main standard output, input, end of line string. So if you use it within your code, so you don't have to go ahead and type it. If you don't use it, it doesn't hurt. So it's still going to be there for you. So now we're going to go ahead and create our drive class, our base class. So in this case, I'm going to create a new class called class tanks. And this is going to be a public as you can see, compiler complaints should be lowercase. So it's going to be public class. And then we're going to go ahead and declare our variables. So I'm going to give my tank a weight of tank. It's going to be a double. And next I'm going to enter undeclared engine size. In this case, this is going to be an integer. Then I'm going to also declare the speed of the tank. Then I'm going to also include a variable to describe how many the number of the crews went in the tank. So here we have completed declaration of our base class. So the class name is tanks. So it's a public. We declared a weight of the tank, engine size, speed, and number of crew. Now our next step is going to be to go ahead and declare our main function. And here, the first thing we have to do is we have to declare an object of the tank. So in here we're gonna say tank. So tanks, and we're gonna call it tank1. So now here we declare object of the tank. Once we declare an object of the tank, next thing we have to do is we can go ahead and access those objects and populate them. So in here, we're going to say tank. See, if you click, you see we're going to use tank 1, and as you can see, the IntelliSys will show you, prompt you with all the variables that you can use. In this case, let's start with the engine size. So the engine size, I'm going to say 800 horsepower. Then I'm going to say tank 1. The weight of the tank, I'll say maybe 14 tons. Then the next variable I'm going to populate the crew, number of crews. So in this case, I'll say 5. The next one, we're going to say tank 1, and we're going to say a speed. So the maximum speed will be 15 miles per hour. So in this case, we have populated all the variables of the class. Now we're going to go ahead and print the result. So in this case, we're going to use our standard output, print the result. So we're going to say standard output, and the first thing we're going to say, we're going to print the weight of the semicolon. So it's going to be tank 1. Here we forgot a semicolon, we put that. Now we're going to say tank 1. In this case, we're going to print the engine size. And we're going to put end of the line, otherwise the output is going to be wrapped up. We're not going to be rightly formatted. Next, we're going to say print. And we're going to do the, actually this is supposed to be weight, so we can change this to size actually. What about engine size? The next one going to be weight of the tank. And this one we're going to select the right one. Next one we're going to say the speed. Tank 1. And select the speed. Next line we're going to print the crew. Okay. Now this completes our class declaration and we also declare how we have populated our class member, and also we printed the results on the screen by using the standard output declaration. So now our code is complete. So let's kind of review. We declare a class tanks, and we had member variables, which we declare here, the weight of the tank, engine size, speed, and number of crew. Then we declare our main function, and we declare a object of the tank. Now here you could declare as many objects as you want. Tank 2, tank 3, tank 4, all that. But here we're gonna just declare one, and we populated its member. Next thing what we have done here is to print the result on the screen. So it seems like our code is complete. Now let's go and run it. So we're gonna Control F5. All right, so the output doesn't look that good. So it seemed like some numbers got wrapped up. So we're going to go back and revisit that and fix that. So let's go back here, see what did we, okay, we forgot to put end of the line here. So let's go place that to make it more presentable. All right, now let's go run it again. Control F5. Now the result is, as we can see, the engine size, the weight, the speed, and number of crew. So as you can see, our code ran okay. So with that said, now that we have completed our base class, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a Derived class based on our base class. So in here, what we need to do is now we want to create another class here. We're going to call it class, let's see, tank add. And it's going to be public. And it's going to be tanks. This particular class, we're going to add two more variables. We're going to call it string description. And we're going to add another variable called string country. Okay, and we're gonna, it's gonna be a derived class based on the tank class. Okay, so we completed the declaration of our derived class here. Now this needs to be also public, otherwise it's not going to be accessible. And you need to write a member function for it so it can be accessed. Right now, let's just make it public and add two variables, description and country of type string. So basically, what we have done is we added a new class, and we're going to call this a derived class. Is based on tank class, which inherits all the variables of the tank class, and also these two additional variables are added. Now, so in this case, we need to modify, since we added a derived class, we need to modify some of the notation and the main class. So before we had tanks, tank1 object, now we're gonna change this and we're just gonna add. We're gonna call it an object of tank add, which will ultimately inherit everything from the tanks class and the tank add class. Okay, so here we go. So now the only thing we have here, the problem is we need to go ahead and populate those two variables, like country. And here we're going to put Italy, right? And then we're going to say tank1, and then the description of the tank will be this, say, tank called Matilda. Okay, so we have done all that. Now we need to make sure those values are also printed here too. So we'll add that as well here. So I'll say country. And then we're gonna use the country variable that we have populated earlier. Then we're gonna go standard output. Then we're gonna have the description. of the tank. What kind of tank is that? And here we're going to put description. All right. So now let's go ahead and run this. So now, as you can see, now we have, remember we had the engine size, the weight, the speed, number of crew. Now we also added 2 additional variables, which is part of the Derived class, and we were able to see that as well, right? Country, Italy, description, Matilda. Now let's go place that end of line here, and let's run it again so we can have a better output, a more formatted, presentable output. So now here we go. So let's go kind of conclude. So the first thing we add to the first portion of the code, we just declare a class tanks, and we assign some member variable to it. Then we went and printed the result. Then we came back and also we had a derived class called a tank add, and based on public tanks class. Then we added 2 variables, description, country, and then we declare object of that derived class, and then we populate it, we assign values to those variables, and then we print it on the screen. So this tutorial kind of helps you to understand how to create a base class and then a derived class. So I hope you found this tutorial helpful for your assignments. Thank you.